Alright, YouTube. Welcome to part 3 of Whirlpool All Lights On Fix. Doing this by, I told Mr. Alex Sarnaski, hope I'm saying that right, out of Philadelphia. And he's appliance repairman, and he says he works on a bunch of these machines and has the same problem every time. He just comes on, all lights are on, and he's wanting to try to figure out why the lights are on, because my other video, I showed you just do recalibration and washer's fine, which it is. But now I'm going to show you guys a bit of a quicker way. You don't have to go through the calibration, even though it only takes a couple minutes. It's really not necessary. This thing has ability to store up to 4 trouble codes, and I've found that, it's my opinion. It doesn't say, because you want to know, well, how do you know the washer was overloaded? Well, I've done the troubleshooting steps in this book a couple times. I've never found an error, and so I'm gonna go ahead and go over this with you. Let's see. I just had recently some codes in memory. I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can pull them out. If they might still be in there, I don't know. We'll see. Now to enter the system, you always got to start with your knob at 12 o'clock. All right. You go left, right, right, left, right. All right. Now we got our lights flashing. Now, to pull trouble codes, we need to get to done. Okay. You saw I did that rotate left, right, and that's a selection. Hit start. Now all lights on. That's showing us that we're at the beginning. Let's go ahead and do a cycle. All right. See, now it's flashing just that one. That means nothing. There's nothing, no codes available. So my codes, it's F0, E0, no fault. And it's going to have 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And we're back at the beginning. So let's go ahead and do the long hold, exit out of the system. Now, code did I get a lot. I get an F7, E7 sometimes, or the machine will think that there's a shifter fault when it tries to shift from agitation to spinning. I have run over the manual things it says to do. Check the harness connections. Everything's good there. Observe shifter operation, things like that. I've checked the basket speed sensor and all that stuff. So my thing is, I've done all these. I've run through the checks. Everything checks out fine. Well, if everything checks out fine, the only other thing it can be is there's too much stuff in the basket. So that'll make it not be able to reach its target RPM during the final spin. Now, like I said, this is my hypothesis. Could be wrong, but you know what? Ever since I figured this out, and I tell people not to overload it anymore, very rarely do I have to come out and reset this machine anymore. So that's what I'm sticking to. That's what I think it is, and it's aggravating. But on the other hand, it saves you a lot of time and money in repairs by go ahead and shutting the machine down, then have something break. Now, this is the old style direct drive units, Kenmore, Whirlpool, whatever. They're all the same underneath. And, there's 2 failure points to these. You either got the motor coupler, that little 3-prong deal with the rubber in the middle, usually will split right on the shaft. They have an upgraded heavy-duty commercial one where the middle, where it slides on the shaft, is actually metal. So it can't split. It's got a metal ring impregnated with plastic around it. Now, I thought that was great because now I just eliminated the failure point. Well, guess what? If you've got something overloaded and you're taking away the point which is designed to fail, something else is going to fail. And what failed for me was last month I actually had to replace the whole transmission in this thing. Luckily, I had one laying around. But that's what broke, because the coupler wouldn't break. That from the motor to the transmission didn't break like it was designed to. It just went ahead and stripped out the transmission. So don't buy the upgraded one. Just stock up on the 3-finger ones. And then the other thing, of course, that fails is the clutch band. I did upgrade mine from the 3-pad to the 6-pad for longevity. Seems to be working out pretty good. So, yeah, it's got a computer, but if it won't let it break itself, it's not going to break itself. Now, what I'm going to show you is how to... I showed you how to pull the codes. Now, like I said, once you do that, you cycle through the codes, you long hold to turn it back off. Machine's good to go now. You can go ahead and put it back into service. That's all you need to do is read the codes. So you don't any longer you don't need to run it through calibration. Now, also I was asked, well, how do you do the checks on it? Now, there's 2 different ways to do the checks. One way is you can just let the machine run through a quick test mode, which is a quick overview test mode, and it'll go ahead and run down all the tests itself and decide whether it passes or fails. Or you can do the next step, which is manual, and it'll do it all on its own. So I guess what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll run it through a quick overview test, and we'll see what it does. And I'll go ahead and show you guys that. So then we'll go ahead and we'll do the manual one. This video is going to be a little bit in length, but like I said, I had people asking me about this, so I told them I was going to go ahead and do it. So we're going to go ahead and start in our 12 o'clock position again. All right, we're going to left, right, right, left, right. All right, now we want to get the quick overview test mode. So that'll be the second option right there. All right, so let's go ahead and get over there. So then we'll, this is what you do, page 8. We get it into there. And the washer will perform an automatic test. With water cycles, check major washer functions. Pressing the start button will manually advance to the next step. Press and hold start for 3 at any time. So, you got that. We'll go ahead and hit start. It will manually advance to the next step. So, what it should be is we got that highlighted. Alright. So it went ahead and it locked. So we got a lid lock. And did that, so that's done. So now, cold water valve will actuate. And the water's not this will last for 60 seconds. Now it says we can go ahead and manually, advance. So obviously we know that the cold water valve is good because we can hear it. So let's go ahead and we'll advance. Alright. Now we got the hot water valve is actuated. It's going to last for about 10 seconds. So let that run. Alright. Now, shifter moves to agitation position. 5 to 15 seconds. I don't know if you heard it, but there was a little bit of noise under the machine. Now we got the agitation going on. That's going to last for 10 seconds. Alright. Drain pump actuated until empty. Go ahead and let that run. Alright, machine's empty. Motor moves to shift position, or spin position. Hear the click. That's how we know the shifter is shifting. Alright, so 5 to 15 seconds. Now it's going to go from low or high. A little streak there. Now it's spinning down, and it's going to basket must reach 0 RPM before test continues the next phase. Very 30 seconds to 2 minutes. This one does take a while to reach 0 RPM. There we go. Done. So, right there, we just did the whole test overview, and everything was working fine. So, like I said, mine error codes listed some manual things. Okay, it told me to check the harness connections to main control and the motor and shifter, observe shifter operation, and we checked the drive system shifter. So if everything's working fine and we keep getting the repeated same codes, to me that says right there that the thing is not being loaded correctly, cram too much down in here. And I've actually come up here and seen my tenants just pushing laundry down in here, and I'm like, no, man, you need to take half of that and stick it over here. And then, like I said, the other one, unable to reach target RPM, it says check the capacitor. I've done that before. If the load is off balance, it'll throw the code and shut the system down. And then it says check drive system motor. So, these are the only faults I've gotten. It locked the machine up every time. And so that was my conclusion I came up with, was people are overloading the machine. And that's what I've come down to. Now I will show you, if you want to go ahead and do a manual test. That's just the same. We'll go ahead. We'll long exit out of here. Okay. Get back in the system here. Okay. Now, what we want to do is we want to get to the manual overview test mode. Now, this is the one that's going to let us manually choose what we want to do. That's number 3. Okay, went blank. So it's awaiting instructions. What does it want us to do? All right, well, we're going to tell it what we want to do. First thing we want to do is we want to check the lid lock. Now, for certain tests, mainly the spin test and agitation test, the machine will not let you do it unless the lid is locked. So actually manually lock your lid. And see, it's lock, unlock, lock, unlock. So, we'll cycle on to the next one, which is one light on. That's cold valve. We can check this with the lid open here. I'll go ahead and hit start. It's working good. All right, keep this over here. Hot valve. That's the next one over. Hit that. Water's flowing out just as good. Okay. Next one. That's going to be, all right, so these next 1, 2, 3, 4 are unused. So we'll go ahead and cycle past those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the next one is the drain. We'll go ahead and drain all the water out. Wasn't much water to begin with, but go ahead and let it drain out. It sounds like it's drained. Now, like I said, it's not going to let us do these next tests unless the lid's locked. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to cycle all the way back to our lid lock activation, which is all lights off. Lock our lid, And then we're going to have to go forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is going to be our low speed spin. Water in tub must be drained before test. Okay, well, apparently it's flashing at me, so there must be still some water in the tub there. So we'll go back and drain some water some more. Well, I guess it just wants to be a turd to me. Oh, I'm sorry, I was making a mistake. Okay, it wasn't. I was actually on this unused one. I'm sure somebody's going to comment about that. There we go. I hear it spinning up. Alright, we're at low speed spin. Let's go ahead and shoot it up to high speed. Notice that the drain is still on. Let's go back and shut that off while we're spinning here. There we go. Okay, so that's unused. Low speed spin, high speed spin. Now, go ahead and shut this down. Let it spin down. Because it's not going to let you go into agitation as long as the sensor is picking up that the basket's rotating. Yep, that's right. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. So, sounds to me like we're pretty quiet here. See if we can do gentle agitation. Hear it? Hear it? That was the shifter moving. I don't know if the camera picked that up or not. So we got gentle agitation. Let's go ahead and kick it in high gear. It's not really any faster, it's just longer. You can hear it. So that's it. That's the end of the test. We just checked that it's shifting from agitate to spin. Let's go ahead and unlock our lid again. All right, now, what about? It says we need to check that the sensor is reading the RPMs. I'll go ahead and go over that with you guys too. You know the calibration mode. All right, so tachometer verification mode. Let's go ahead and enter our system again. Oh, we were still in the system. All right, good. So we need to get to soak wash and done lit up. All right. So been a little while since I've done this. Alright, so in theory, let's see if I did this right. Nope, I did not. Let's hit it again. What is it? What am I doing wrong here? It's not wanting to let me do it. Alright, let's go over this together. So, for tachometer, perform steps 1 and 2 of activating service diagnostic modes, toggle the selector, and we're there. Start button. So in theory, that should be, let's make maybe the basket spinning first, and then we hit the button. No, it just doesn't like us today. What is up with that? Alright, we exited out. Let's do it again here. There we go. Now you see I'm slowly turning it with my hand here, just very slowly. See? It's showing you that the sensor is picking up the magnet on the basket. So we know our tachometer is working. Alright, so everything on the machine is working just fine. So there's no reason for it to throw any codes. The only variable here is, was there too much in the machine? Now, I don't know 100% on this one, but other ones I've tore down for scrap, they got very small motors, like 1/6 of a horsepower. So if you got too much in there, it's just not going to be able to spin it up. That's all there is to it. And when it can't do it, then it's just going to throw the code. So we'll go ahead and exit out, and we're done. So, Alex, I hope I went over everything with you. Hope it was helpful. If anybody else has any questions, feel free to let me know, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. But I believe with these machines, the only thing that's really going to happen is somebody's going to put too much in here, and it's gonna lock the machine down. And the only way to remedy that is, unfortunately, you have to put signs like this. You know, but mine's kind of wore off by now, but everybody pretty much knows, you know, not to overload it by now. And actually, with my tenants, what I did last time, they were overloading this machine, like literally. I had to come reset this thing once a day. Then they overloaded this one, and that's when they blew out the transmission in it. So I didn't fix either one of these for a month. I let them sit here, and I let them go take their stuff to a laundromat. And when I did that, it made them appreciate, you know, us having washing machines out here so that they have convenience. Say we can wash our clothes where we're at. We don't have to load everything up, take it to laundromat, which is also a lot more expensive. So, you know, hey, if your tenants are doing that and they're just not being respectful of your equipment at all, you know what? Give it a break for a month, a couple weeks. I guarantee you they'll appreciate having the ease of having the machine right here. And they'll learn to appreciate it a bit better. So like I said, you guys have any more questions, feel free to let me know. If you need me to go over something in more detail, let me know. And I hope this helps you out a lot. Thanks.